The forecast had rain clearing, but still umbrellas were the order of the day for driver briefing, with warning of high winds to replace the morning wet.
If you want to do your testing, down below there again, same start position as yesterday, watch the weed, alright? A lot of weed beds out there, the river is just as low.
4 short legs on the Rakaia would make up the second stage of the Canterbury Memorial Races, after the Stuart Blanchard race was postponed due to lack of water in the Rakaia. Most heeded the warning about weed in the lagoon that clogs the intake. Still, a few had problems. Roger Preston watched the seconds tick by as he struggled to bring the big gas turbine entry up on step. Using the full length of the lagoon did the trick, and he and Ben were third quickest to the main road bridge behind Mike Pooley and John Derry. With combined points on offer, Derry was pushing hard to keep the pressure on and claw back the gap. But Pooley was having none of it, keeping his nose in front for what would become a 2-horse race all day. Roger Preston was beaten by the fastest CX downstream when he found himself on the wrong side of the river.
Oh yeah, we pre-boated and there was a channel on the left on the way down, about a third of the way down, and hugs was a left-hand bank for about 5 k's, and we didn't want to go down there, but we ended up in there, and it was really slow, like we probably lost 30 or 40 seconds. We just come out of it just in front of Tom, so he'd caught us a lot. So yeah, it wasn't the right way to go.
That quick CX boat was the black sheep in the field, driven by Byron Campbell, the clear class leader both days, although consistency was beginning to rear its head in a class where a winner could come from several quarters. In only his first season, Dave Robinson has shaken the establishment, and his slick start in the lagoon demonstrated his daring. Unfortunately, he couldn't repeat it for the return run and copped a 2-minute penalty.
The flow caught me out on the way down, just supposedly I've jumped it by 2 seconds, so 2-minute penalty there. Yeah, I was trying to get Byron, but there's no way that's going to happen now. So it's, Callum's the only way to get past him now.
Stephen Price struggled to get the aptly named Defiant on step, and although he eventually did, the problem resurfaced at the start of the downstream leg, and he was lucky to make it back to lunch.
On the leg up, we thought we had a bit of weed in the grill. We'll start at the top. We took about 1.5 k's to get going. When we finally did, it was a slow trip all the way down. And what seems to have happened is this was welded to the back of the grill, and it's vibrated loose, and it was sitting in front of the intake, the front of the blade. So the shaft has eaten all that away, and the front of the blade has nipped all this away as well. So
you were lucky to get back.
I was, Paul. And when we got to the bottom, the blade was just spinning around, undo the bolt. So we're quite relieved to get down here and sort it out.
The other A-class entrant, Justin Hill, was running the borrowed CX36 and was just grateful for the opportunity.
Definitely, yeah. Massive thanks to John. It's great of him to offer us a boat and to drive. Otherwise, we'd just be spectators, and that's no good for anyone. It's good to be out on the river racing.
CX Craig Robinson made the top okay, but eventually trailered out after he couldn't get the boat on the plane for the downstream leg. Fast current and shallows weren't helping the driver's cause. It was becoming a recurring theme, and yesterday's FX winner was suffering today. Now, bow riding is a no-go zone in river racing for obvious reasons. But before he could be considered for penalty, Andrew Scott had KO'd himself when the electrics got wet and he had to be towed back to the start. The tide seems to be turning in FX for regular frontrunner Greg Wilson, struggling to maintain the dominance he once enjoyed.
Yeah, we've had our boat all straightened out perfectly, and it actually went better when it had a wee bend in it. So we're just trying to get it going. We're slowly picking up the odd mile now, but it's a battle.
Golden Home's Tom Kelly figured it was weed at the bottom and stones at the top slowing his progress, but was pleased for the chance to complete repeat runs on the same river.
We made a bit of a mistake yesterday coming back down, and we shot back up to have a look at it last night to see where it was, and it was pretty obvious, so we've kept well away from that this time.
By the afternoon legs, most seemed to have mastered the start, with much less time wasted in the lagoon. But Tom Kelly rubbed the bottom of Golden Homes a bit too hard near the top, causing damage to a fuel line, and the complications forced him out of the competition. CX leader Byron Campbell began the upstream leg with blistering pace, but it all came unstuck.
Ran a shelf and got picked up by the wind and dumped and shot out of the river, and we nearly rolled the boat. It was actually real close to going right over. So yeah, no, we got a bit knocked around, damaged the steering, and so we were able to continue anyway.
So we came up through that shingle bar there, hit that shelf, and then we launched off of this and ran right along that bank all the way along. That was when we nearly rolled over. And we came to a rest over here.
That should have meant the lead dropped straight into the hands of Dave Robinson, but his 2-minute penalty did the damage, and despite taking half a minute a leg from Callum Mackenzie's lead, he couldn't pull back enough time. Mackenzie collecting the silverware in CX for the Memorial weekend.
It's been a game of about 8 halves. We've been up, down, but the thing is, I haven't beaten him by driving faster than him. It's just the way that it's panned out, and same with Byron parking up. But as I learned in the last race, I was in the same position. I was probably going faster down there, and I didn't make it to the top, so I got the same result essentially. Yeah. Coming down that last leg, I was just looking forward to seeing that lagoon.
Lee Harrison's times in FX were setting new standards, but his DNF yesterday hurt his chances of retaining the overall weekend win. And Riley Scott is not one to hand over a trophy without a fight.
But we just kept it clean all yesterday and all today. Pushed pretty hard, got to try and keep Lee honest, but definitely got to find some speed somewhere.
After we blew a really good run up, my aim was just to win every leg from there and kind of make sure that, we can do it really.
The spoils in unlimited class went to Mike Pooley, who played a card from John Derry's hand after the 8 times Kiwi champ suffered a setback at the start of day 1. No matter how hard he tried, Pooley was holding the trump card with time on his side.
No, it was a good weekend. We had a bit of luck with John having a few problems at the start line, and we just boated where we had to really. It was a good river and a good competition.
So, with plenty of fight in unlimited, rookie drivers threatening CX and FX, and with 2 new entrants demonstrating the fun to be had in club class, things are looking strong in New Zealand river racing. Waitaki is next, 22nd of May. Mark it in your calendar.